for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Detail. Order. Arms. Post. Colors.
I think that's Charles Clark.
At this time, I would like to introduce Father Leo, St. Louis County Police Department Chaplain, who will give the invocation.
Detail. Uncover. 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, we may bow our heads to the God that we love so dear. Holy God, you are the greatest law enforcement officer and protector of people. I pray for those who are serving or who have served in the military, but also for those who are working tirelessly to keep us safe here at home. Whether on the front lines, in the supporting roles, they put their lives on the line every day for my safety, your safety, and our security. May they be strengthened and supported by our prayer. I thank them from the bottom of my heart for their courage, their dedication, their sacrifice. Send your angels to bless them with health and happiness. Grant them peace, protect them from all harm. I'm grateful for their service to our country and to our communities. Bless this gathering who are here. May we all be in peace this day. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Recover. 2.
Audience, you may be seated.
Hey, seat.
On behalf of the Academy staff and the officers of Class 205, I would like to welcome our distinguished platform party, commanding officers, honored guests, family, and friends. It is my pleasure to introduce the members of our platform party. If you would, please hold your applause until all members have been introduced. At this time, I ask that each platform members please stand and remain standing as they are introduced. Beginning on my right, I would like to introduce Colonel Kenneth Gregory, Chief of the St. Louis County Police Department and member of the Academy Board of Managers. Commissioner Brian Ashworth, Chairman of the St. Louis County Board of Police Commissioners and Chairperson of the Academy Board of Managers. Colonel Ray Johnson, Chief of the Chesterfield Police Department and Vice Chairman of the Academy Board of Managers. Colonel Douglas Schaefler, Chief of the Baldwin Police Department and member of the Academy Board of Managers. Colonel Stephen Lewis, Chief of the Ellisville Police Department and member of the Academy Board of Managers. Executive Director Carl Becker of the St. Louis County Police Department, Division of Human Resources and Secretary of the Academy Board of Managers. Captain Jerry Kelly, Director of the St. Louis County and Municipal Police Academy and the Academy Board of Managers. Police Officer Michael Coletti of the St. Louis County Police Department and Class Supervisor for Class 205. And Father Leo of the St. Louis County Police Department Chaplains Program. At each graduation, a recruit is chosen to speak on behalf of the class. I would like to introduce Police Officer Brian Silver of the St. Louis County Police Department, who has been selected to express his thoughts of Class 205.
Thank you, Sergeant Eldridge. Good evening. I'd like to start off first by thanking all of our families, spouses, boyfriends and girlfriends, not only for being here tonight, but for being there for us every night throughout this academy and every night going forward. I would be remiss if I didn't mention my girlfriend, Jenna. Your support has never faltered, nor your belief wavered. I'm a lucky man to have you in my corner. First responder families do not get enough credit for the sacrifices they make. You patiently share us with the public and are our true lifelines for keeping us happy and healthy. Thank you all. I'd also like to thank our instructors, whose hard work and dedication never went unnoticed to us recruits. You guys put in countless hours making sure we received the training necessary to do this job well, and you did it while having to balance 2 other recruit classes throughout our stay. You demanded 100% effort from us every day, and you gave 100% back to us every day. To say that we would not be the people we are today without you would be an understatement. Saying thank you doesn't feel like enough, but on behalf of all of us in Class 205, sincerely, thank you. And now, to my classmates. 205, here we are. 6 months later, we finally made it. We have chosen to graduate. We've been pepper sprayed, tased, and kicked and punched. We've dislocated fingers, we've broken arms, we've crashed cars. Actually, those last 2 were the same person. We've done wall sits and air squats and flutter kicks. So many flutter kicks. We've been tested academically. We all ace con law for anyone who asks. We've been tested physically. Officer Andrew made sure of that. We've had our grit tested and our resolve and our ability to perform under pressure. We've been taught how to focus on our task. We've been taught to go hard until we can't go anymore and then keep going. We've been taught that the fight doesn't end until we win. We've been taught what privilege is. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Ryan Silver, and I now have the honor of standing in front of you as a police officer. I also have the great privilege of being a 3rd-generation police officer and the 5th person in my family to proudly wear a badge. God bless my mother, her father, her husband, and now her oldest son are all police. Sorry, Mom. Because I come from a law enforcement family, I've had the privilege of hearing some great advice regarding police work. I've also had the burden of hearing tall tales about the glory days, stories that I'm positive can't all be true. Because let's face it, we all know cops won't let facts get in the way of a good story. But back to the advice. My grandfather retired as a sergeant from the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department after 36 years. When I told him I was thinking about pursuing this career path, he immediately made his feelings about it clear. I'm not saying he told me not to do it, but the look on his face said it all. But eventually, he sighed and he told me, it's a good job, it's a noble job, but listen, to do this job, you have to love your fellow man. Those 4 words had a profound impact on me in that moment, and they still do. Here was this man, my grandfather, who spent 36 years policing the city of St. Louis, and the first advice he could think to give his grandson of being a police officer is simply, love your fellow man. I haven't forgotten it, and I never will. That is what this job is in its most basic form. My father was also a police officer. He served with St. Louis County for 13 years before leaving as a sergeant. My brothers and I often give him trouble for his tendency to hand out unsolicited life lessons. Wishy numbers. Not that they aren't helpful. Some of his greatest hits are, don't let anyone steal your joy, and you live as long as the last person who remembers you. And of course, listen to your mother. That last one never stuck. But one of the first lessons I remember him teaching me was something he had heard from a fellow officer. He said it to me all the time growing up. He said, "I can't leave you kids much, but I can leave you my name." This is a good career with good benefits, but no one was getting rich being a police officer. So, class 205, remember that even if you can't leave your children $1 million or a mansion, your integrity and the way you carry yourself, the name you leave behind, really does matter. Treat your name tag with the same respect and pride you treat your badge. You never know, your kids might want to follow in your footsteps. I said at the beginning of the speech, we finally made it. And while I don't want to take away from the accomplishment of graduating from the academy, I want to stress that this is only the beginning. From here on out, the public and our brothers and sisters in blue are depending on us to be our best each and every day. And our families are depending on us to come home to them each and every day. This is a difficult profession. The hours are long, the work is dangerous, and the people we serve aren't always as grateful as we wish they were. But we go anyway. We chose this profession, and we chose it for a reason. Not just anyone can do this, but I know that we can. So, as we hit the streets in our respective precincts and municipalities, remember what we learned. Remember to have thick skin. Remember that if you're not 15 minutes early, you're late. Remember that the badge is a symbol of the public's trust in us to take care of them. Remember to wear your uniform. Don't let it wear you. Remember to love your fellow man. And remember that even if you can't leave your kids much, you can leave them your name. And always remember, we chose to graduate. St. Louis County and Municipal Police Academy Recruit Class 205 is dedicated to the memory of Tamaris Leon Wesley Bohannon. On August 30th, 2020, police officer Tamaris Bohannon succumbed to a gunshot sustained the previous night when he and other officers were ambushed in the 3700 block of Hartford Street at about 6 p.m. He and other officers were dispatched to reports of a shooting in the area. They were searching for a victim when a man opened fire on them, striking Officer Bohannon in the head and a second officer in the leg. The man then forced 2 residents out of their home and barricaded himself inside. Officer Bohannon was taken to a local hospital where he succumbed to his wound. The subject remained barricaded inside of the home until being taken into custody early the following morning. Officer Bohannon had served with the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department for 3.5 years. He is survived by his wife Alexis, their 3 children, his father Al, and mother Elizabeth. The St. Louis County and Municipal Police Academy Recruit Class 205 is hereby dedicated in honor of the commitment to duty and legacy of Officer Bohannon. May we always remember to sacrifice and celebrate his service to the St. Louis communities.
Thank you, Officer Silver. At this time, I will turn the podium over to Captain Jerry Kelly, Director of the St. Louis County and Municipal Police Academy, who will give the Director's report for the Academy.
Good evening, and welcome to all the family and friends here tonight, as well as the many distinguished guests attending the graduation ceremony for Recruit Class 205. I would also like to extend a special welcome to the family of Police Officer Tamaris Bohannon of the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department. Recruit Class 205 is dedicated in memory of Officer Bohannon. We appreciate you allowing us to honor him in this small but special way. Thank you for attending the ceremony. Besides the very supportive Board of Managers we have at the Academy, I would like to introduce the real strength of the St. Louis County Municipal Police Academy. A learning institution is only as good as its instructors and its support staff makes it. It's my biased opinion, but I feel we have some of the best instructors and best support staff in the region. At this time, I would like to introduce Sergeant Tracy Eldridge, Basic Training Supervisor, St. Louis County Police Department. Officer Michael Coletti, St. Louis County Police Department and Class Supervisor for Recruit Class 205. Officer Dan Bierman, Florissant Police Department and Assistant Class Supervisor for Recruit Class 205. Officer Michael Moore, St. Louis County Police Department. Officer Amy Ander, St. Louis County Police Department. Officer Marshall Lee, St. Louis County Police Department. Officer Jeff Parnas, St. Louis County Police Department. Officer Joseph Craig, St. Louis County Police Department. Mr. Michael Fagan, retired Assistant U.S. Attorney, and Mrs. Demetria Butler, Basic Training Coordinator. The professional lives of these 10 recruits began tonight when they received their certificates and become police officers. After successfully completing 25 long weeks of academy training, the foundation has been set. Probably one of the more important things they've learned during their training is effective police officers of the 21st century have to be more than protector of rights and of life. They've learned the most effective police officers are those who have strong moral character and unquestionable integrity. The most effective police officer is compassionate, empathetic, shows tolerance, and when needed, a sense of resilience. They've learned these are all traits needed to be devoted to community service and promote positive change. Class 205, be proud of your accomplishment. You've earned your way into a noble profession. Do not lose sight of the fact that you are the example of a profession filled with honor, duty, and integrity. Congratulations to you all. Stay safe, and God bless. At this time, I would like to introduce our keynote speaker. Colonel Douglas Schaefler is the Chief of Police for the City of Baldwin Police Department. He began his law enforcement career in 1987 as a police officer with the Lambert St. Louis Airport Police Department. In 1988, he was hired as a patrol officer for the Richmond Heights Police Department, where he worked his way through the ranks as patrol sergeant, detective sergeant, and captain over support operations. As a captain, he was also the city's emergency management director, while also supervising the department's international accreditation in Toledo. In December of 2015, he was appointed as the assistant chief, and in April of 2017, he was appointed the position of chief of police for the Richmond Heights Police Department. In 2019, Colonel Schaefler retired from the Richmond Heights Police Department and became the chief of police with the City of Baldwin Police Department. Colonel Schaefler is a graduate of the FBI National Academy and serves on the executive boards of the Law Enforcement Officials of Greater St. Louis Area Police Chiefs Association, the FBI National Academy Eastern Missouri Chapter, and the Missouri Police Chiefs Association. He also holds seats on the State Prosecuting Attorney Advisory Board, St. Louis County and Municipal Police Academy Board of Managers, and the Missouri Department of Public Safety, JAG, Drug Task Force Application Review Board. Ladies and gentlemen, Colonel Douglas Schaefler.
Thank you for knowing that is a heck of an introduction. I should know I wrote it myself. I thought about putting something in there like part-time astronaut just to see if you would read it. Well, good evening, everyone. This is a great evening. Congratulations. You guys, great accomplishment on your part. Culmination of 6 months, and here you are. Well, if you look around the room, especially behind me and the seats behind you, these officers are hundreds and hundreds of years of experience. But all those started in the same place you are today, sitting at academy graduation, surrounded by friends and family and fellow officers. You know, in my 35 years in law enforcement, there hasn't been a single day that I haven't wanted to pin my badge on. But there have been plenty of it where it's been tough. You know? But what kept me going and what will keep you going are these same people, your friends and your family and your fellow officers. I should make note that Chief Brian Murphy's here, Baldwin resident, one of our best, police chief in the city of Kirkwood. He and I went to the police academy together. I think we're the last two left from our academy class. We're both chiefs. Got a lot to look forward to in your careers. So, I wanted to come out here and say something profound, something inspirational. Wasn't sure what to say. I want to give you some advice. And, well, as a good police chief, let me ask somebody else what I should say instead of figuring it out on my own. I actually went down to the source. So I have quarterly meetings with my officers. I walk in a roll call. One shift is going off, one's coming on. I keep them all there. We have about a dozen people in the room, a couple of sergeants, and I give them updates of what's going on. Keep them informed. Here's what we're doing, here's what's going on. Do you have any questions, any concerns, what do we do for you? At the end of that, I asked them, I said, look, I'm giving this speech at the academy graduation. What's the one thing that you would tell these new academy grads that maybe they didn't learn in the academy, maybe their training officer won't tell them? And so I wait for an answer, and it's quiet. Because as you know, nobody wants to talk first, nobody wants to sound dumb, say something silly, and be ridiculed. They don't want to do it. Well, one young officer, he was awesome, sits up and goes, sir, I would tell them to check all their gear every morning before the shift. Check their gun, check their taser, check their... Okay, yeah, I get it. And pretty quickly, we have an older officer, we'll just call him Archie. He said, nice job kissing up, Proby. The same thing happened. Everybody started laughing. I said, all right, settle down. What else do you have? What do you got that I can tell them? Something profound. Archie pipes up. Tell them to carry a pencil with them. Why a pencil? Because if you're taking notes and if you're standing in the rain taking notes, your pen won't work, you need a pencil. The young kid says, why are you standing in the rain? Archie, without missing the beat, says, because I'm working, you gotta try it. I've lost control at this point. They're just having a good time now. One officer says, Chief, I know you keep telling us not to use our cell phones while we're driving around. It looks bad, it's dangerous, the whole 9 yards. Maybe let them know that. As soon as you get in the car, behind your shift, grab your cell phone, connect it to the car, so you can do some hands-free talking, and you can listen to your podcast on night shift. Here comes Archie. Why can't you just listen to the radio? He says, one of the other guys says, it's great, he says, how old are you, Archie? Archie responds, when I started on patrol, all we had was an AM radio. The kid says, I didn't know horses came with AM radio. And they're losing it. And I've lost complete control. Finally, a sergeant, being a good sergeant leader, said, guys, hold on. Chief's a busy man. He asked you questions. Let's give him an answer. So they kind of knuckled down and started talking about it. And they came up with one answer, one thing to tell you guys. But before I tell you what that is, I want to tell you this. What was going on in that room, what you see in that room, aren't just a bunch of police officers. They're family. They're siblings. They're having a great time, enjoying each other's company, cutting up with each other, cutting everybody down, having fun with it, enjoying it. Then when it became time to work, they knuckled down and they came up with an answer. And that is awesome. And that's the family you're walking into. So it's going to be a great time. So here's their simple piece of advice that maybe your training officer won't tell you, maybe you didn't learn in the police academy. Have fun. This is a great job. It's a great profession. You're going to do a lot of great things. Just have fun. It's, you're going to get out there, you're going to sweat, you're going to have bad days, you're going to have good days. Just have fun. You're going to have a lot of good days, but they're not always going to be good. But you can always approach a bad day with a good attitude. So remember that. So moving on, when I became a police chief, I felt I had to tell my officers what they could expect out of me. It was important. They need to know what to expect from the boss. And they need to know what I expect from them. So I thought, what can I tell them? To tell them, here's what I expect from you. Now, keep in mind, these are cops, so you got to keep it short and simple. You can laugh at that. So the first thing I told them is this. Care about doing a good job. Just care about it. I mean, you guys, how long did it take you to actually get your job? You applied for it, you asked for it, you applied for it, you tested for it, you competed for it, you spent 6 months in the police academy to learn how to do it. Now you're going to go out and do it. Care about doing it well. Just care about it. There are going to be times where you're going to want to cut corners. Think twice before you do that. Care about doing it well. So because we expect that. And the other one is, I tried to say this nicer, but here's it. Just don't be a jerk. That's it. Don't be a jerk to the suspects. Don't be a jerk to the witnesses and other victims. Don't be a jerk to your fellow officers. Don't be a jerk at your house, at home, with your family. Don't be a jerk in the bar at night when the bartender cuts you off. Do not be a jerk to the cop who pulls you over when you're speeding home after a rough day of work. Just don't do that. Remember those two things. Care about doing a good job. Don't be a jerk. That's it. It makes life very, very simple. Just remember those two. Now, as you go through your career, there may or may not have been several people with guns telling me to keep it under 5 minutes. And now they're standing behind me, so that's awesome. As you go through your career, a lot of things are going to happen. At the end of your career, you're going to ask yourself, what have I actually done? What have I accomplished? What have I contributed? What is my legacy? You know, in this country, there are about 1 million cops, all the way from federal cops down to small town cops. There's about 1 million of us. And that might make you feel a little insignificant. There's a bunch of them in this room here. So, I'm going to tell you a story, true story, happened about a month ago. My assistant chief comes, now if I choke up a little bit, I just love this story. My assistant chief comes to my office afterwards and says, hey chief, can I talk to you for a minute? And I thought, uh-oh. He's a little paranoid. He sits down, he says, hey, we were at lunch, once we were at lunch, and this young lady, mid-20s, came up to me and said, hey officer, do you know me, remember me? And he thought, uh-oh. She said, look, I just paid for your lunch, sir. And here's what I did. 12 years ago when I was 13, I came home from school to my home where I lived with my mom. I found her on the floor. She wasn't breathing. I called 911 and you came. You were kind and you hugged me and you held me and you called my family and got them out there. And I never properly thanked you for that. To her, my officer is literally 1 in a million and not even close to being insignificant. She will never forgive me as long as she lives. So you will meet people on their worst day. And your job is to help them through it so that eventually they can get to their best day. See, we deal with humans on a human level. And so, along with professionalism, integrity, and honor, you've got to have compassion and empathy. The legacy you will leave behind is what is held in the hearts and memories of all those people that you've encountered throughout your entire career. And they will never forget you. If you approach people as human beings, you will be that 1 in a million officer to so many different people in your career. And you will have left a wonderful and meaningful legacy. Thank you for being willing to step up into a profession which many criticize, so few understand, and even fewer will step up and do. Congratulations on your graduation, and I wish you all the best in your careers. Thank you.
I would like to ask Officer Coletti to step forward and call roll for the presentation of certificates and badges by Chief Kenneth Gregory and Captain Jerry Kelly. If you are presenting a badge or certificate, please make your way to my right of the stage. I ask that you hold your applause until all the certificates have been issued.
Right. Tag, Chuck. Left, face.
Police Officer Takesha Brown, St. Louis County Police Department. Police Officer Taylor Chadwick, St. Louis County Police Department. Police Officer Nicholas Harris, Webster Groves Police Department. Police Officer Benjamin Holtman, Creve Coeur Police Department. Police Officer Juan Quintero, Clayton Police Department. Police Officer Jake Ruscio, St. Louis County Police Department. Police Officer Ryan Silver, St. Louis County Police Department. Officer Silver's certificate will be presented to him by his grandfather, Michael Rowe, retired Sergeant, St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department. Police Officer John Tharp, Kirkwood Police Department. Police Officer Brian Youngberg, Chesterfield Police Department. Police Officer Sasha Zabriskie, St. Louis County Police Department.
Quiet. Left, face.
Ladies and gentlemen, the police officers of Class 205. Class Supervisor, I have the privilege of recognizing those members of Class 205 who have achieved outstanding individual performances during their 25 weeks of training. Members of each academy class compete for top honors in 5 categories. Those categories being scholastic average, firearms, defensive tactics, physical training, and best overall recruit. With St. Louis County Police Officer Taylor Chadwick, please stand. Officer Chadwick is receiving a certificate tonight for being the best overall in physical training. The physical training final exam consists of sit-ups, push-ups, and a 1.5-mile run. During the final exam, Officer Chadwick finished with the highest average of the class. Congratulations, Taylor. With Clayton Police Officer Juan Quintero, please stand. Officer Quintero is receiving a certificate tonight for achieving the highest overall in firearms training. Each recruit receives 105 hours of firearms training. At the end of the training, the recruit must pass a qualification course. In addition, they must pass 2 combat courses, a night fire course, an off-duty weapon course, and a shotgun course. Officer Quintero's total score of all these courses was the highest in the class. Congratulations, Juan. Please stand. Officer Tharp is receiving a certificate tonight for having the highest academic average. During the 25 weeks of training, each recruit is tested in 12 academic blocks with a possible score of 100%. Officer Tharp completed the training with an outstanding 95.7%. Congratulations, John. overall in defensive tactics. During academy training, each recruit is given 78 hours of instruction of defensive tactics. At the end of the block of instruction, they must pass a written and a practical exam. Officer Clark completed the training with a score of 98.6%. Congratulations, John. Officer Clark will also be receiving awards tonight for the Best Overall Recruit. The Best Overall Recruit Award is the most coveted award given by the Academy. The award is determined by combining the results of all 4 categories mentioned above: scholastic average, physical training, firearms, and defensive tactics. Officer John Clark scored high in all these areas, and he earns the honor of being the best overall in the class. His name will be added to a plaque listing previous winners and displayed proudly outside the Sergeant Richard E. Weinhold Memorial Classroom. Congratulations. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here to celebrate and recognize this great accomplishment by your friends and loved ones. A personal thank you to Father Leo for blessing tonight's ceremony. This speech has 3 goals. First, we want to tell you about some of the experience that the recruits of the St. Louis County Municipal Police Academy received during their training. Second, we want to tell you about the individuality of the recruits and how they all joined together to create a solid unit. And finally, personal note to the newest officers of the St. Louis region. The Chief of the St. Louis County Police Department, the Board of Managers, Captain Kelly, and Sergeant others have entrusted the instructors with the training of new police officers. We take this job very seriously. With their trust and faith, we're the first faces that recruits see when they attempt to step into the world of law enforcement. Because of that, we try not to hand these badges up to just anyone. We want them earned. 6 months ago, the instructors walked into a room with 17 new faces. This is where they were explaining the rules and what was expected of them during their time here at the Academy. Did any of you ever hear a recruit make a statement about graduation being a choice? If you did, that's because the philosophy of the Academy was centered around extreme ownership. This is an idea made popular by a former Navy SEAL named Jocko Willard. The philosophy behind extreme ownership is that you and only you are responsible for your life. If a recruit failed out due to academics, it was their choice not to study. If a recruit failed out because of physical fitness, it was their choice not to prepare themselves physically for the upcoming stress that their bodies would have to endure. With that knowledge, the recruits were told that they will only point fingers at themselves, no one else. There will be no victimhood in this academy. Everyone is starting out on equal footing, and where they ended up, well, that was up to them. Just as equal, if they succeeded, if they maintained discipline and self-control for 6 months, then they would have earned it. This would be their accomplishment that they can feel proud of. It is no surprise to any friend or family member, but these former recruits spent a lot of their free time studying. They had to absorb massive amounts of information and then pass numerous finals proving they understood the blocking instruction. Recruits had to work long hours, they had to adhere to strict rules, and if they deviated from their rules, there would be consequences. There is method to the madness. We are preparing them for the street. Anything less would be malpractice on the part of the academy. We would fail in our mission to produce the best police officers who are ready for the stress of the job. We hope that you, the friends and family, have seen a change in these officers. From the moment they left the house on the morning of April 25th until now, we hope they walk with their heads held high and with a confidence knowing that this is their accomplishment. After the first few weeks of training, when we realized who was into this for the long haul, we began to learn more about the recruits on a personal level. We start to recognize when and who is having a birthday. We ask how their children are doing and how family life is going. We truly take an interest in the success of these recruits. The Academy isn't about rote memorization, robotic tasks. It is about teaching and learning in a way that makes us all better. With that being said, let's talk about some of these interesting facts. This class has a couple of mothers in it who sacrificed many hours away from their children with the goal of making a better life for them. There is also a father of 4 who is expecting his 5th child, and a man who's going to be a father for the first time. One of the recruits is carrying on the legacy of being the 3rd generation law enforcement officer. We have 2 former military members who decided that their own fear of personal safety came after the citizens of this nation. One of those former military members drove a Ford Explorer directly into a light pole during an emergency vehicle operation. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the massive concrete light poles. It didn't jump out at him. He drove directly into it at 3 miles an hour. We have a former firefighter who wanted a little more excitement in her life. Watching TV in a recliner just wasn't enough. She also found a handgun lying on the road one day on her way to work. The gun had been thrown out of a window from a fleeing suspect. Good job of keeping your community safe, even as a recruit. We have a recruit who, to this day, still does not have a driver's side door handle on his car. Who knows how he gets in his car every day. At the end of week 1, we learned that one of the recruits is not the most coordinated, and because of his lack of coordination, he earned the nickname Tiny Dancer. They provided every instructor here with many smiles and gave us some motivation to keep moving forward. Thank you. Now directly to class 205. Well done. You should be proud of yourselves. Isn't victory better when it was hard won? Don't go patting yourselves on the back just yet. The last 6 months was the easy part. The hard part of training begins now. The scenarios become real. Now they're no longer scenarios, it's the real deal. Listen to your field trainers. Listen to those who've experienced it. Take with you the good parts, discard the bad, keep learning. Don't ever believe that you know it all, because you can always be better. Remember the little things. They're done for a reason. The little things like touching the brass plaques with the names of fallen officers. This is done every time you enter the police academy to remind us all that there is no greater love than laying your life down for your friends. Formation in the morning was performed so you can practice marching and inspect your uniforms. Simply looking sharp will end many confrontations before they even begin. We would all stand at attention as the American flag was hoisted up. She'd be saluted as a sign of respect for everything this great country stands for. We would march back into the classroom as one and start our day. Before class would start, we would say the Pledge of Allegiance. This was done because you must be in love with this great nation in order to love our citizens and want to protect them. When we performed these small acts of commitment, it made us proud to go out and protect the streets of this nation and our many great cities and communities. You choose to do more with your life than just putting a yard sign in your yard or a bumper sticker on your car. You're actually doing something for your fellow brothers and sisters. It is now your turn to put your personal safety and freedom behind the citizens of the St. Louis region. Integrity and loyalty are learned traits and must be demonstrated by serving and sacrificing others. Remember that we were always told, the greatest among you will be your servant. That should be an example to us. We are intended for service, and that's an honorable life. Before this speech is wrapped up, one last fun fact for class 205. Until right now, the entire speech you just heard did not contain the word I. That was done on purpose. That word needs to get out of your vocabulary right now. There's no room for a person who only thinks of themselves. Thank you. God bless.
Would everyone please rise for the benediction by Father Keynote?
Detail. Uncover. 2.
Ladies, gentlemen, we bow our heads again to the God that we love so dear. Dear and gracious God, how blessed are you and how great thou art. We ask that you be with these new fine officers, that you watch over them, that you care for them, that you watch over us all. Help them to be kind. Help them to care. Help them to serve. We ask that you hold them each day in your hand. We especially ask that you hold Officer Bohannon in your hand this day. We know you do. We love him still. So be with us, guard us, guide us. We ask this in your name.
Amen.
Detail. Recover. 2.
Would everyone please remain standing as the police officers of Class 205 prepare for the retiring of the colors? concludes our ceremony for this evening. Please remain seated until the platform party leaves and Class 205 is formally dismissed for the last time. Thank you for being here tonight.